All right, the 2025 preseason Coaches All-SEC team. There is one LSU Tiger on the first team offense. Any guesses, Matthew?
On the coaches poll,
First team offense.
I want to say Nussmeier, but I feel like you're setting me up.
Go with your gut.
Nussmeier.
It is Garrett Nussmeier.
Ooh.
Lenore Sellers was QB1 on the media preseason All-SEC team. It is Garrett Nussmeier coming in here. And I've always said, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, I would much rather be on the coaches All-SEC team than the media.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm on the coaches All-SEC team, good.
Yeah.
I got second team. Some guy named Darren McFadden and another guy named Noshawn Moreno got first team. I think we need to recount the votes. That's just me.
Again, a couple guys like Joe Dye. Built a little different.
They were built a little different. But good nod here for Garrett Nussmeier to get on the coach's first team. Kind of shows exactly what he's, how he's thought of around the SEC. And so no surprise. It's not shocking that he gets on the first team, but
and it's kind
if
of
you're
going
to pick one, I would go certainly quarterback.
And the coaches
Nussmeier,
poll
coaches.
is more likely to give you a nod in respect to the experience that you've had and the success that you've had instead of what you could be. I think that the AP or the media poll is more of the hype a little bit more, which it should be. That's the beauty of the entertainment part of everything is the hype and the buildup and what it could be. Now, Lenore's, of course, has done great things, but I think the coaches poll is, it's kind of a nod to, man, you've done some great things. You're a good player. You got good people around you. They take everything into account a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it still is a preseason ranking, so it doesn't mean anything, but it's cool.
Lenore's is the second team quarterback on the preseason All-SEC team. So
thank God it's not ARC.
How about that? I mean, Sporting News, which is one of the All-American teams that decides if you're a unanimous All-American. They're one of the 5, I believe, and they put Arch Manning as their number 1 first team preseason All-American quarterback.
There was a recent mock draft, I think, that came out yesterday that has him going number 1 overall in this year's draft.
To the New Orleans Saints?
To the Browns.
The Browns are not going to be good this year?
They might be. According to Mel Kiper, if Shador plays, they might win.
Their depth chart came out the other day. They have 6 quarterbacks.
That's smart. Smart. It's a good play.
Hey,
6.
They got Joe Flacco. They got Kenny Pickett. They've got Shedeur Sanders. They got Dylan Gabriel. They got Deshaun Watson.
They got Tyler Huntley.
Oh, yeah. Snoop's there. It's true.
Well, Coach O says that Arch Manning is the second coming of Joe Burrow, so
Arc
is.
You know what?
But he also got snubbed.
Who did?
Well, he didn't get snubbed. I think it's fair to leave him off, but he was off the Manning award watch list.
Arch Manning is not on that.
I'm telling you,
that's great.
This is all this hype. It's not like the Manning family is not trying to get all this.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty funny.
They do not want that smoke.
No. Archie, I can see Peyton and Eli being like, he ain't on our list. He ain't done anything. Get him over there. Maybe later. There's one LSU Tiger that made first team defense.
Whit.
Gotta be Whit.
Gotta be.
It is Whit. Whit Weeks, right there in the middle of the All-SEC team. Special teams, Barian Brown was the return specialist, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be, I think, a dynamic weapon for LSU. And they got multiple guys, actually, that could go back there, which is kind of the cool part. I mean, you had multiple guys have return touchdowns just a year ago as well, and then you add somebody that is thought of as the best in the SEC. Second team offense, Caden Durham at running back, Aaron Anderson at receiver. Second team defense, you had Harold Perkins at linebacker. Not star.
The coaches, they know. The coaches.
All-purpose, Xavier Thomas got all-purpose on the second team there. Another one of those guys that certainly could be a returner for you, man. If I was a quarterback, I would be like incredibly excited. Thomas also got return specialist on the third team, but I would be excited about all the different type of receivers that I have if I'm Garrett Nussmeier. Now, I've talked about it over the last couple of weeks. Like, I would like to have like a group of 5 or 6 that I know is going to be in there. But like when you think about going down the field with Chris Hilton, when you think about Aaron Anderson being able to do anything under the sun, he did it last year, whatever route you need him to run. And you start talking about Brown, you start talking about Thomas, and Kyle Parker, somebody that they continue to talk about. But the cool thing about the receiver group, I think, and then Nick Anderson's kind of your tall, rangy, and then you throw Green in there. He's a tight end, but he's kind of a hybrid receiver, got 6'7". Like, you've got something for every situation, and you can be very creative. It's like we talked about with the running game. Xavier Thomas isn't a running back, but I saw him run counter last year off of a motion into the backfield. If I'm Nussmeier, man, I am fired up with all the different opportunities I think that they're going to have to get the ball to a playmaker in space. And it doesn't even have to be, I mean, you know this, Matt. It can be a throw that doesn't travel more than 3 yards down the field.
Yep.
But all the guys that you have that ability, that quick, now look, whatever you want to call it, smoke route, to catch it, make one guy miss, and go 60. You were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett has the ultimate ability to make any play down the field, any throw it into tight coverage, tight windows, but he doesn't have to do that all the time. It's great to have that ability to do it when you have to turn it on and be able to react to something like that. But the keys and the pieces that Joe Sloan and company have to work with to get creative, especially early on in big games, early on in the Clemson game, get the ball into the playmaker's hands. We don't have to do anything crazy to where we got to pass protect for 3, 4, 5 seconds with a new offensive line against a team that's pinning their ears back in Little Death Valley. Like, we don't have to do that. Get the ball out, get the nerves out. And I never had the luxury of being able to be a returning starter because I didn't start until my last year at LSU. But I can only imagine that coming back for a second year and seeing the talent around the quarterback or the wide receiver room and the tight end room, and you got Caden Durham behind you. But, oh, yeah, I'm returning my leading receiver in yards and touchdowns as well from the year before. Like, I can only imagine, like, the comfort, the security blanket that makes you feel from a confidence level. And it makes sense when you put all those pieces together why these guys are talking so confident. And Coach Kelly's given them the freedom to talk freely about their confidence and about the expectations for this team because they're the pieces are there. You don't want them to go in like half-stepping. You want them to be like, all right, we got the pieces. We've shown that we can play. And I can only imagine that confidence that having that whole room full of talent plus the guy that was your number one person a year ago.
So why is that important to me? Why is it important to have all different guys that can do different things? Now, if you have the ability to push the ball down the field because you have time, that's great. But let's say that early in the game, while this new offensive line is trying to get settled, they're trying to figure it out a little bit. Maybe they're losing, right? Early in the game against a very talented defensive front from Clemson. It's all about how quick can I get the ball out of my hands at that point. And then that's why it's important to have. You've got Barry and Brown. You have Xavier Thomas. Aaron Anderson, too. He had a return touchdown a year ago. But you have those guys who are used to working in space where you have some blockers in front of you in the return game, right? And so it's not going to be that's second nature to them. And so it's a successful play because it went for 7 yards. And then you just continue on down the field, right? You catch a ball and you make one guy miss and you can go 70, but even if you don't, you catch a ball, you get behind Trey'Dez Green, who's coming from the Y position. He's going to kick out the nickel that was in front of you, and you just, kind of get into that tunnel and you get 7 yards. That's a positive play. And what does it do? It slows everybody down a little bit on that defensive front as well when you start getting the ball out of your hands quick. And then when you have the receivers who have that ability, because look, not every receiver has the ability to catch the ball, get into that tunnel, get 7 yards that we're talking about. LSU, I believe, has got 3, but I know they've got 2 that they want to utilize.
Yeah, it's especially early on in big games, and I would say opening games are very big. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of build-up to these things. As a play caller and developing a game plan around that, you have to understand the mentality that the defense you're facing is going to come out with. They're going to come out with their hair on fire. They're going to come out trying to make a statement early. Like, on offense in big games, we are always trying to withstand the blow, withstand the early, but it's like a heavyweight bout. Like, don't get knocked out in the first couple minutes because there's a lot of energy. They're going to come out swinging.
Yeah.
Withstand the big haymakers. And how do you do that? And it's like the fighting game a lot of times. It's like use your opponent's momentum against them. That's when you do a lot of the quick stuff. That's when you do a little bit of misdirection, a little fake, a fake handoff right, throw a little tunnel screen to the left. You make them go one direction because they got all this energy, and you switch them up. And you get the ball out of your hand. You get completions. And then the game starts settling in a little bit. So to have the playmaking ability everywhere on the field and have all the options available for quick hitters, misdirection, a little bit of a screen here or there, like that's a big luxury to have as a play caller.
Last point, I know we got to take a break. I think that you have the ability to have a Trades Green kind of line up wherever. And I would love to see him, because you're not going to fall into tendencies, I don't think, with defenses. So if you had just a normal, big, long, rangy tight end, but, he didn't have the skill set that Trades Green has, well, all right, if he's out there out wide, they're going to try to throw something, behind the line of scrimmage, him be the point, lead blocker out there. But with his skill set, you have the ability for him to have a major role even when he doesn't have the football. Now it's got to be on him. But that is something you can utilize him in that space because teams can't say, okay, if 14's here, it's going to be this. So that's another part that we're talking about, having these receivers that have the ability to do so, having a quarterback that is going to feel comfortable with throws behind the line of scrimmage. I know that sounds easy. Those are not easy. But
That's
then you have
pretty tough.
Yeah, then you got a Trades Green who can go out there and can also affect the game without the ball.
Yeah, and Bauer Sharp, who's been looking really good, and we know he's going to be that more traditional tight end type, but has really flashed in training camp, making some really good catches, getting open, and so everywhere. That's why I brought up the tight end room right in conjunction with the wide receiver room, because I think they're going to play a huge role in this. And I think early in the game, I would love to see just simple, basic plays, spread them out, spread the defense out. How about a naked bootleg and hit a little tight end on a flat route? How about we start the game that way? Some of the best games you've ever played or ever seen an offense do.
Yeah.
Simple plays. Okay, just execute them really well, and it's not rocket science out there. And when you have better players than the other team does, it becomes even easier. Don't overthink it.